Hello, I'm Ibrahim Imam, and welcome to another episode of the Neurology Lounge podcast titled 10 Ways That Alcohol Wreaks Havoc on the Nervous System. Alcohol is a ubiquitous beverage that is consumed often without any regard to its equally ubiquitous medical hazards. And beyond its effect on such body organs as the liver, the nervous system is one of the most prominent victims of alcohol. And what profound consequences it poses to all parts of the nervous system, from the brain and spinal cord to the nerves and muscles. To see, let us count down 10 ways that alcohol destroys the nervous system. Number 10, alcohol intoxication. This, of course, refers to the inebriation of alcohol, a direct effect on the brain. From disinhibition and unsteadiness, accidents and embarrassment, the consequences of alcohol intoxication perhaps need no further elaboration. Number 9, alcohol-related movement disorders. Think of it, and alcohol can cause it. And the list of movement disorders that alcohol triggers include chorea, orolingual dyskinesia, abnormal movements of the tongue and the mouth, or akathisia, the sense of inner restlessness that some people get with alcohol. Others are cerebellar ataxia or impaired balance, asterixis or a flapping kind of tremor of the hands that can be seen when alcohol causes the liver to fail. There's also a range of movement disorders that result from alcohol withdrawal, and these include alcoholic tremor, transient Parkinsonism, and transient dyskinesias. Number 8, alcohol-induced demyelinating disorders. Alcohol can directly damage the myelin or fatty covering of the nerves in the brain. This is a process called demyelination. And this manifests typically as a condition called osmotic demyelination disorder. Not something you want to ever face. Number 7, peripheral neuropathy. Alcohol is one of the most important, if not the most important, risk factor for damage to the peripheral nerves, a condition called peripheral neuropathy. In this regard, alcohol spares no type of nerve, from motor to sensory to autonomic. Enough reason to keep away from that glass. Number 6, cerebellar cognitive affective syndrome. Alcohol can cause a specific form of dementia that comes from the back of the brain called the cerebellum. This is the part of the brain that controls balance, as well as we're learning now, cognition. The disorder is called cerebellar cognitive affective disorder because it is also accompanied by emotional and personality changes, autistic and childlike behaviors, and obsessive compulsive traits. It may also manifest with impairments of speech, inappropriate laughter and crying, as well as disinhibition. It is, however, important to know that alcohol is not the only or the main cause of this. CCAS may be inherited, as in spinocerebellar ataxia type 3, ataxia telangiectasia, autosomal recessive spastic ataxia of Charlevoix-Seguin, as well as in a condition called Joubert syndrome. I never said this podcast was going to be easy. It may also be acquired through cerebellar strokes, infections, tumors, surgery, and by the anti-seizure medication called topiramate. Number 5, traumatic brain injury, or TBI. It is perhaps a no-brainer that alcohol is one of the leading causes of traumatic brain injury, being that alcohol is a major trigger for all sorts of accidents, from falls to road traffic accidents. There's nothing more to add to that. Number 4, subacute encephalopathy with seizures in alcoholics, called SESA, S-E-S-A. This is a syndrome that is specific to alcohol, and it is the combination of seizures and brain dysfunction. This is one for the academics to follow up on. Number 3, alcohol as a trigger for attacks of primary neurological disorders. As many headache sufferers learn the hard way, alcohol is a recognized trigger for migraine as well as for cluster headaches. Alcohol is also a provoking factor for attacks of conditions such as porphyria, paroxysmal non-kinesigenic dyskinesia, and ocular neuromyotonia. Number 2, Wernicke's encephalopathy. Alcohol is the quintessential cause of Wernicke's encephalopathy, a brain dysfunction that results from vitamin B1 deficiency, a major but not the exclusive complication of alcoholism. The typical manifestation is by confusion, amnesia, and classically confabulation. There are also eye movement disorders such as nystagmus, gaze paralysis, and complete inability to move the eyes called ophthalmoparesis. And that is not all. Wernicke's encephalopathy can manifest with impaired sense of smell, vision, and hearing, as well as with seizures, unsteadiness or cerebellar ataxia, peripheral neuropathy, postural hypotension, and urinary incontinence. Worst of all, Wernicke's encephalopathy can progress to a condition called Korsakoff psychosis, and this is the irreversible stage whereby memory and learning are affected. People with Korsakoff psychosis are usually alert and responsive, and they repeatedly ask the same questions, read the same pages for hours, and are unable to recognize people they have recently met. Apart from alcohol, other causes of B1 deficiency include gastrointestinal diseases and surgery, hyperemesis gravidarum or excessive vomiting in pregnancy, starvation, and even bariatric surgery. B1 deficiency may also manifest as a complication of herpes simplex encephalitis and tumors of the third ventricle. Amongst other causes are systemic diseases such as infections and cancer, as well as a consequence of mental health disorders as depression, schizophrenia, and of course anorexia nervosa. Just to emphasize the other causes of B1 deficiency, you have renal and thyroid diseases and medical treatments such as dialysis, stem cell or bone marrow transplantation. The MRI in Wernicke's encephalopathy shows lesions in the part of the brain called the mammillary bodies, as well as in the medial parts of the thalami, the periventricular and periaqueductal gray areas of the brain. Again, for the specialist. And in case you missed it, that was 2-in-1 Wernicke's and Korsakoff's. Thank you very much for listening or watching this podcast. If you found it enlightening, why not click on the like button? And better still, why not subscribe so as not to miss subsequent podcasts? And whilst waiting for the next episode, why not check my website called Neuro Checklist, or check out my book called Surfing the Brain, where there's a lot more soft touch neurology. Thank you very much for your time.